Hi, I'm Craig Willis. I'm Senior Vice President of Global Markets for Growth Energy. For some of your members who maybe don't know much about Growth Energy, we're the largest biofuel trade association in the world. We have over 100 ethanol plants that are our members, and our members produce over 32 billion liters of ethanol annually. Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit when I was on the panel discussion yesterday, but we had the EPA since 2016. They've given out 4 billion plus gallons worth of waivers to the small refiners. You know, we've done a lot of advocacy, a lot of talking to them, and when they've done that, essentially, it's led to less incentives for higher level blends like E15 or E85. In some of those discussions, there ended up being a White House meeting on October 4th with our champions, our rural champions, and we came out of that meeting feeling pretty good. We felt like the EPA was going to write a proposal that when they calculated their RVOs, they would look at a 3-year average of the small refiner exemptions to make their final year calculations. And we were good with that. But then the proposal came out not too long afterwards, and what they suggested in the proposal was to use not the 3-year average that we thought we had agreed to in this meeting. They ended up proposing to use the DOE projections, and the problem we have with that, when you look over a 3-year period from 2016 to 2018, the DOE forecast shortchanges what the actual small refiner exemptions were by 530 million gallons a year. And that's very material in a market that uses right around 14.4 billion gallons of ethanol domestically. So we're asking the EPA, and we're asking the EPA to live up to the agreement that the White House made with the rural champions in that meeting. So that's really where we stand on the small refiner exemptions. It's really a repeat of what I said in the prior question. The EPA has given out 4 billion plus gallons of small refinery waivers since 2016. And that really has hurt us because we had a lot of infrastructure in place via our Prime the Pump program. We have almost 2,000 stores now selling high E15. They're high volume stores, are some of the largest, some of the most reputable retailers in the United States, but there's less incentive than there could have been had they not given those 4 billion gallons worth of waivers out. So that's why we're spending so much time trying to fix this small refiner process, because we think it'll lead to growth, or faster accelerated growth of E15 in the States, and E85 also. The number one problem I run into in every market is misinformation. I just came from Nigeria last week, and we had a lot of questions on phase separation with ethanol, a lot of questions around water issues with ethanol, and I hear this over and over again. Whether it's in Mexico, whether it's in Ghana, Nigeria, Indonesia, and at the end of the day, we have the facts on our side. The United States uses 143 billion gallons of gasoline annually. We're by far the largest consumer of gasoline in the world. We're at a 10% blend, so we have ample real-world proof that ethanol works, and we have a lot of data to back it up. So our challenge is just getting that information out to the countries as we go visit them, and getting our experts in the room when they have technical questions that I can't answer, to make governments or provinces feel comfortable that ethanol is not a problem. A prime example is in Canada. They're working on a couple different initiatives in Quebec and in Ontario that would allow E15 to be province-wide. Well, we now have all that proof and data in the States. We've driven 10 billion miles with E15 with no problems. We have some of the, like I said earlier, some of the largest, most respected retailers in the country offering it. They guarantee their gasoline. There's no problems with E15. We know that. Well, now we have that information. We just have to communicate that to those respected provinces and policymakers. Well, Brazil's a huge deal to us. I mean, they're 30% of our total exports, or they were 30% of our total exports in 2018. So they're a big deal to our industry. As far as fair level of access, we would say no. I mean, the Brazilians have really unimpeded access to our market with virtually no import duties or tariffs. But when we go there, there's a current tariff rate quota, or a TRQ, for 750 million liters annually, and anything over and above that, there's a 20% duty on that product. They also limit who can buy our ethanol. So we would say no. We just want reciprocal trade between the two. So we've been disappointed in some of their policy moves that they've made here over the last, not that long. I mean, they made the amendment here to extend it another year on August 31st, and they amended it here just in the last couple of weeks. You know, India change comes slow. I mean, I think they have the right goals. This last year they're blending around a 6% blend rate countrywide. Where we're disappointed is, and what we'd like to change, and what we continue to be advocates for, is U.S. ethanol into that country can only be used for industrial use. And we think we can help solve a couple problems for the Indian government. You know, they're at 6% today. We could for sure, in the United States, come up with that incremental 4%, and it would do two things for the country. It would, number one, it would make gasoline prices less expensive for the consumers, which most governments have high on the priority list. And number two, it helps with their climate goals. So we think we're a good answer to some of their goals on ethanol, and they have E10, in their policy. So that's where we're spending a lot of our time. We're going to advocate for free market trade with any country that we deal with, or any continent we deal with. So we're going to ask the same of the Europeans. I don't think they have a lot to worry about. We have, last I checked, we only had 4 plants that were certified out of roughly 200 in the United States to be able to actually ship product to EU and make their standards. So it looks to me like we're probably shipping about 100 million gallons a year there, roughly. That's kind of the rough estimates. So no, I just don't think, just based on those 4 plants, I think their fears are maybe a little bit misguided.